Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sean Arnold, and hey, have you heard? Mr. Hideo Kojima left Konami 11 days ago. This was reported by Simon Parker of The New Yorker, who states that he spoke to a member of staff from Konami who confirmed that a departure ceremony was held for Mr. Kojima on the 19th of October at Konami's headquarters. I wanted to make this video to touch upon some of the main topics discussed in the article, although I really do encourage anyone who watches this video to go and read it for themselves. It's a very important article and I'm not going to be talking about everything from that article here. Parkin questions why Kojima left Konami, stating that his latest work, Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, has made more than $179 million US to date. To put this in perspective, that is more money than both Avengers Age of Ultron and Jurassic World, the two biggest grossing films of the year, combined. But instead of relishing in their successes, Konami is dropping a man who quite literally, in my opinion, is the face of the video game industry. Barkin reports that this is largely due to development costs, stating that a Nikkei report estimates the cost of developing the Phantom Pain to be around $80 million, which is a huge cost, undoubtedly. However, when you compare these type of costs towards, say, what's going on in the mobile gaming industry, where these games cost considerably less to make but make tons of money through microtransactions and purchased in-game goods, it seems that this kind of business model, or the traditional gaming business model, has become less attractive to Konami as a whole, and they no longer really want to support games, big games like Kojima's masterpieces, which is mainly the Metal Gear franchise. Now, I'm not a business analyst. I'm not in a comfortable position to comment on the business practices of a multinational corporation. It's not my area of expertise. However, I have been playing video games since I was 5 years old, and I have been a fan of Mr. Kojima for the last 17 years. And I just wanted to kind of comment on his departure and how that kind of makes me feel. Kojima is a hero in my eyes. I think Kojima transformed this industry. He wanted to make video games more accepted upon the masses. He wanted to make it so that video games weren't just perceived as a medium which was largely marketed towards children and young teenagers. Very much in the 90s, when we had the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, when we had very colourful 2D games, that's what the video game industry was. It was mostly marketed towards young males. However, he wanted to introduce more mature themes towards the industry to make to show that it can just be used in any possible way, like movies and like books, and kind of just change people's mindsets. I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily go as far to say that video games are as accepted as movies and or are as accessible as movies and books are to most people, but I will say that they are definitely more accepted than they were as being a hobby for everyone, really. You know, that was a big theme of the PlayStation 1 era, and kind of why the PlayStation 1 era was my favourite of all time, because that's when a lot of video game developers were trying to make more games which were suited for more mature audiences. I'm thinking of things like Final Fantasy 7 compared to Final Fantasy 6, although I love Final Fantasy 6, not knocking it at all. Things like Tomb Raider, things like Silent Hill, or the psychological masterpiece that is Silent Hill 2. All of those games were trying to make them more acceptable or more suited for more mature audiences. And when I say mature, I don't necessarily mean things like gore or blood or sexual references. I mean more things of more adult kind of concepts and ideas. Metal Gear Solid 1 is a great example of this, where the main theme of that game concentrates on nuclear disarmament and how important that is to our world, in the threat that nuclear weapons have, and that we could literally destroy our entire planet just by owning these weapons, and how important it is that we continue to support these efforts to reduce the number of nuclear weapons that we have. Metal Gear Solid 2 is an even better example, where towards the end of that game you find out that the game is really strongly focusing on a meta-commentary of censorship of free speech and controlling of ideology and free will. It's something which is very, very true for anyone that likes to use the internet in this day and age. And then Metal Gear Solid 3 in its own right is a fantastic tale as well, mostly focusing on how futile the idea of having countries and nations is, and that we're really just one big planet and our enemies and allies will change with the times. He really tried to introduce these deep concepts, these things that most people don't actually think about on a day-to-day basis, but tried to introduce into a medium which was, again, perceived as being something for younger people. And I think, I know when I first played Metal Gear Solid, I played it as a young teenager, and I had to play through it several times to kind of grasp, kind of understand what the commentary in the game was really about. And I think it's because of someone like him that I've actually continued to persevere and continue to enjoy video games as a medium as a whole. You know, again, just to reiterate, it's one of those things where video games still aren't discussed in such a way unless you are a video gamer. You know, you're not going to go up to you couldn't have a conversation with a random stranger and just say, oh hey, yeah, I've been playing this awesome video game and it really touches on these themes well, unlike books and movies. But hopefully one day we can overcome that. Anyway, that to me is kind of what, at least for me, was the biggest thing that Mr. Kojima brought to this industry. That doesn't mean all of his games were like that. You're probably seeing footage of Zone of the Enders on screen right now. And this was just a fun game that he made, that he also wanted to get off the ground and try different things, but he didn't want to do Metal Gear. And I'm going to be making some videos of Zone of the Enders soon, so hopefully you guys will look to it. But to think that, I know he's not gone from the industry, he's still going to be around. I'm pretty sure someone's going to try and pick him up. Hopefully it'll be Sony, and we'll continue to get him to make work. But to think that we may be getting games of from Metal Gear in the future, which aren't run by Kojima's own team, just kind of depresses me. And again, to reiterate what I said, it is truly the end of an era. So that's going to be my commentary for Hey Have You Heard today. Thank you guys for supporting this series so far and enjoying and commenting on the videos. What do you guys think about Mr. Kojima? Do you have any opinions on his departure at all? Is he your favorite developer like he is mine? Anything you really want to say about this topic, just feel free to comment on, and I'm always around to have a good discussion. So hopefully you'll look forward to the next video, but until then, thank you for watching as always. Take care.